Oh, yeah, this is wrong. This is,
There you go.
this is, I needed severe exercise today.
Yeah.
I'm gonna walk you over by the library.
Yes, yeah. It's a nice walk.
Yeah, oh, yeah. And it's a little bit.
Yeah.
I didn't go to the other side with, you know, the golf cart.
I gotta get the butt on.
Oh, it's 11.
You gotta get your work, that's good.
Oh, yeah, whoa, that's the exercise. Oh, yeah. I'm still going down. But I want to hear about it.
Hello, everybody, grab a prayer book, come on in. Here, Maddie, you're here too.
I know.
Bring us a Maddie.
So I'm also in Joe's, how are you?
I know. Hey.
I see the inside, you want to point to third age. That's why I did that. Yeah.
I ain't I look at Joe, but
Could I just back from an adventure? I had an adventure. I went to. I know some number and I look at it, it's popular, for whatever reason, I send it to me. I went from. I didn't even want to full adventure. So I went on something else. You know, when you're right. So you. Oh my
gosh, we did some, like some probably next week, but I got out. I'd love to hear about it.
So. Which.
Yeah. Forget it.
And so I went. Wonderful.
Okay, yeah. Okay, everybody, welcome, let's come on in, we're gonna get started. Are we all moving on in? We're gonna get started. I'm gonna have everyone needs a prayer book, and we're gonna start with an opening reading today. This is our last class of the Shabbat morning prayer service. Or Shabbat worship. Next week, we do not have class. You resume again the first week of August with Rabbi Ashira, and you will be with Rabbi Ashira. She with Rabbi Ashira, who will be taking you on a journey through the high holiday prayer book, through the Machzor. Okay, so you continue your adventure of prayer. Just focus us on the high holidays, since believe it or not, they're coming around the corner again. So today's our last class about Shabbat morning. So we are going to focus on the Torah service. So I wanted to begin with a beautiful reading from Alden Solavi about Torah. So nobody needs anything right now. You just need an open heart, open ears, kavanah, intentionality. So place everything down. You don't need to open any books. Keep them closed for now. Just allow yourself to be here. Let's silence our phones so that we can be totally present and here with everybody. So I'm gonna read. Okay, but we're gonna just silence our phones now. And I'm gonna ask everyone to just sit, put everything down. You don't need anything. Enter into this space.
I was trying to turn off my phone.
Here we are. We are here. We have left everything behind. We're in this room. In this space, at this moment, we're gonna turn we're gonna turn towards our hearts. We're gonna turn toward the still small voice within. And I want to just share a beautiful reading from Alden Solavi in his book, This Joyous Soul, which brings us to Seder Kriyat HaTorah for the Torah service, which we will focus on today. And here's his opening to Seder Kriyat HaTorah. It's called God's Voice. What if God's voice was so near that your bones rattled as thunder echoes inside your chest? What if God's voice was so near you could feel the wind hit your face as your feet seemed to slip on shaking ground? What if awe and wonder surrounded you, so close that your knees buckled as a pillar of fire from heaven descends to earth? What if holiness packed the empty space with light as your lungs fill with the one divine breath, together with every other living being? What if God's voice is as near as your willingness to remember the moment we stood together at Sinai, amid the smoke and the lightning, hearing the great blast of the shofar? What if that moment is now? What did you hear? What did you feel? Tara?
When you first said the word thunder, I instantly thought of Sinai. When the mountain was trembling and the thunder and the shofar blast and the lightning, that's what I thought of.
So Tara held on to the thunder, and that the thunder brought her to Sinai. Beautiful. Spencer?
I thought the reading poem illustrated that we can go back there for ourselves when we read Torah.
Okay, beautiful, that we have the ability to go back to Sinai. Beautiful. What else?
One of the last,
Please.
I think the last sentence or whatever, what if the last word was now?
Yeah. What if that moment is now?
Right, so I think we always have to be open. Because it's around us, God's around us, and wonder are around us.
Yeah, beautiful. Beautiful. Anybody else want to reflect on the words you heard? Or what you felt?
Can everyone speak louder? I've got my hearing aids up maximum, I still can.
What, anyone else want to reflect on what we heard? So today, when we dive into Seder Kriyat HaTorah, I want us to think about that the Torah service is a beautifully designed section of our service that brings us to the base of the mountain each and every week. One of the things that I find so powerful about Seder Kriyat HaTorah is that it's not just the opening and the reading of the Torah, it's from the moment that the ark doors are first opened. As they open, we stand, we rise, showing honor and reverence to the Torah itself. But also we stand as if we were standing at that base of the mountain, right? Our tradition teaches that we are all standing there, whether we were, in the moment in the desert, but also the generations past, present, and future all stand at Sinai. So when that Torah is removed from the ark doors are open and we stand, each and every week, we stand at the base of the mountain, ready and willing, prepared to accept once again the gift of Torah into our lives. Each and every week, we have that moment. We have that opportunity. We have that blessing to receive Torah into our lives. And then we take the Torah out, we hold the Torah, and then we go through the congregation with the Hakafah, the notion that Torah doesn't just live in some high place along the way, but it is a part of each and every one of us. And so it travels amongst the congregation, right? And everyone goes to reach out to the Torah, to give the Torah the respect, the honor, the kavod, a kiss to the Torah, to touch the Torah and then bring it back into our lives. Again, each of these elements Who here thinks about what do you think about when the Torah comes into the congregation?
I love that.
Okay, tell me why.
Oh, first of all, I love the music. I love after the regular prayer when it goes into like the Moroccan kind of thing. I just want to dance. I find it so joyous.
Mhm.
Yeah, I love saying Shabbat Shalom to whoever's carrying it. I love saying Shabbat Shalom or Mazel Tov to the bar mitzvah.
Mhm.
And then, like I was here a couple weeks ago, when you give like the little Torahs to the munchkins, I just think it's such a great door.
Yeah.
moment.
Yeah,
Like that's one of my favorite times, yeah.
awesome. Yeah.
When I got to carry Torah, when I did my conversion, I thought I was gonna plot. I didn't realize it was so heavy. And I remember Rabbi.
Physically heavy, spiritually heavy.
He was like this, and I'm like walking, and I was just like, don't drop it, just don't drop it, just walk. And I remember feeling like it was so heavy, but I had the strength. And it was such an honor, and I was trying not to cry and lose it. I'm just like, wow. And then everyone sang Mazel Tov, and that, like, it took me forever to fall asleep when I got home, because I was so full of joy and energy. But I remember carrying it, and then the next day my muscle, like, I've been lifting weights, I can still feel it. And I'm like, that is, like, was such a joy. It was such a joy, it was truly joy. Simcha.
Beautiful.
Tara got the really big one in the back of the,
Oh, yeah, the round one and all.
No, not the children.
That's
no,
great.
just the really tall, big one in the back.
Yeah, awesome, awesome. Yeah, Susan.
We never did that for many years, and now that I love the fact that we do it. When I go to Orthodox shul, they do it, and it's. But we've been doing it for a long time now, but before that, we never did it.
Right.
Well, it was just up there,
Mhm.
and it was just. The rabbi was not part of the.
Well, I'm gonna tell you,
Walking around.
when Rabbi Singer came, he got there just before my oldest son was in bar mitzvah through 2060. Anyhow, so we meet him on Thursday, he just got there, and he wanted to go over and read us and whatever. I grew up, when I tell you, classic reform,
Mhm.
we wanted to go that class. Okay. He wanted to do walk with the Torah, and no, I mean, I was appalled. It just shows you that, you change. But at that time, he wanted to do that, and I just, no. And you learn.
Right, so there's an evolution of the traditions, right? So like in the early classical reform. Joy, did you have something you wanted to
Oh,
share?
I was gonna say, for me, just the opposite. When I was a kid, women weren't even allowed to touch the Torah. So it wasn't until my kid was being bar mitzvah that Michelle handed, I said, I've never held a Torah. And she goes, really? I go, no, I grew up Reform. I'm a certain age. Girls could not, our bat mitzvahs, you didn't even read out the Torah.
Right.
So just the thrill of holding the Torah on the beam and no one was even there. I couldn't begin to tell her what a thrill, or even having an aliyah. I don't think my niece understood this. I had an aliyah for her bat mitzvah, and that for me was like wonderful. So it's funny, all different I guess what makes a tradition isn't always a tradition. It's that you incorporate it in your temple or where you go.
Right.
Yeah.
Beautiful. Yeah, Maddie.
I think it's a real brilliant part of the service. Because growing up on the Bima, the rabbis or those who participated were there. But when they come into the congregation and we can look at each other, we can connect, we can touch, we can smile. I think that really brings us full circle.
Beautiful. Beautiful.
One time Rabbi Greg got the really big one. And his daughter was taking her time going through the congregation for their tiny meals. You could tell he was like,
This is nothing to do with it, but about women and the Torah.
Margaret, you've got to talk
Okay.
about her.
It's off subject a little, but just finished a class about significant leaders in this Judaism. Anyhow, okay, so Sally Prieston becomes a rabbi, the first woman rabbi, like 1972 or 3 or something. And then another one, anyhow, it came down to I was in Charlotte then, Forum Temple. We were gonna have a joint service with the conservative Orthodox shul. Always did on Thanksgiving, and there was a big hoo-ha from them. They didn't want her on that bema with the Torah. I mean, it was a whole thing, those days. Wouldn't be now in a conservative synagogue, there are plenty of women who go.
Okay, let's dive into the service. Let's look at this, and then what we're gonna do is we're going to read through the service and the liturgy, and then we're actually gonna take the Torah out of our ark here. And we're gonna experience holding the Torah all together and passing it down from one another. So the idea that it's not just Torah doesn't just live behind the doors. It doesn't mean Torah is only in our lives once a week. Each time that we come here together, we are bringing the words of the Torah to life. The idea that the Torah is a living, breathing part of who we are is really important. And one of the things that I want us to do as we study the words of the prayers is to notice how is the Torah how is it described? How does our tradition describe what Torah is? And we're gonna look at that through the different elements of the liturgy. And then we're gonna have the opportunity to open the door and open the ark doors, take the Torah out, pass it to one another, feel it, hold it, and also just describe like does this mean to us? How does it feel? It's in a different space. We're in a different space than we usually see the Torah, whether in the chapel or the sanctuary. And just understanding and sort of unpacking that feeling of what it means to have Torah as a part of our active, living, breathing being in different spaces. And so I think that that's a really powerful thing that we're going to experience today. Okay, so let's do it.
What page?
244. Okay. So we're on page 244. Oh, Margaret, will you bring me one too, just so I have one here? Thank you. Page 244, this is usually when we say we will now continue with Seder Kriyat Torah, the ark doors are open. And traditionally you would sing Ein Kamocha. Ein Kamocha Va'Elohim Adonai. There is none like you among the gods Adonai. Ve'ein Kama'asecha. And there are no deeds like yours. Malchutcha Malchut Kol Olamim, your dominion, your greatness is in all over the world. You are sovereign, Malchutcha, you are the sovereign of all the worlds. Umemshaltecha b'chol dor v'dor, and your dominion is in all generations. Adonai Melech, Adonai Malach. Adonai will reign, Adonai has reigned, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed, Adonai will continue to reign forever and ever. Adonai oz la'amo yiten, Adonai will give strength to our people, Adonai yivarech et amo v'shalom, Adonai will bless our people with peace. These are the words that we recite when we open the ark doors. What are these saying? What do these mean to you? Why are these the words that we're saying?
It's a declaration of how we are inspired, how we understand the power that is Adonai.
Okay, so it's a declaration of how we believe of God's power and a declaration of how we feel. Okay, beautiful. Yeah, Spencer?
These are the same things God told us at Sinai. More or less. I'm your God, I'll reign for all generations, I'll bless you. This is the promise we made.
Okay, beautiful. Yeah.
This is also the same wording that Miriam said, mi chamocha,
Mm.
how great are you, how wonderful.
Right,
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Chamocha, not me.
yeah, but right, but the same concept, right? She says, who is like you, Adonai, amongst all the gods, right? There is no one like you. This is Ein Kamocha, there is no one like you, there are none other than you, right? Here's what you do there, and not only that, there are none other like you, but also what I think is really powerful here, the Ein Kama Asacha, there are no deeds like yours. Right, so it's not just who God is, but also God's actions, God's deeds, what we receive. Okay, and one of the things, Adonai Ozem Oyiten, Adonai Yivarech et Amo Vashalom, such beautiful language. Adonai will give strength to our people. Adonai Oz, God gives strength to us and will bless us. Right, this idea of being strengthened, of being blessed. These are really beautiful words. It's not just, we're not just focused on you as this sovereign ruler, but also someone who blesses us. What a beautiful understanding of that relationship. And through that blessing is you strengthened us too. Okay? Then we continue on. Av harachamim, source of mercy. Source of mercy. Hitiva birtzoncha et Zion. Favor Zion with your goodness. Tivnei chomot Yerushalayim, rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Ki v'cha levad betachnu, for you alone do we trust. Now we have these words: trust, deeds, strengthen, blessing. Melech el ram v'nisa, Adon olamim, sovereign, high and exalted, God eternal. You do we trust, you rebuild the walls of Jerusalem, source of mercy. There's a nature of mercy, of compassion, Rahmanis, right? Rachamim, Rahmanis, give me Rahmanis, right? Compassion, mercy, right? Strengthen me, bless me. You are all of those things and all encompassing. Yep, Susan?
This is. We've been through part of the service and now here we are, the Torah. And it's all encompassing and it makes us, these prayers remind us as though we needed it, but we do every week. We may be reminded of how wonderful God is, powerful and caring, and all these fabulous adjectives that we could use. But just before reading the Torah, this is just brings us to that point.
Beautiful. I want to read together on page 245. Yeah, Margaret.
I asked, what was this written?
I was just gonna ask the same question.
What?
Because it says rebuild the walls of
Exactly,
Jerusalem.
exactly
So
what
was
it
this
said.
written in Babylon? Was it written in
Yeah,
Middle Ages? Which
So if you-
rabbis wrote this?
so if you see, you can look at the bottom of the page on 244 in the footnotes.
That was your point, right?
It will give you the footnotes. So here you have Heitiva v'tzoncha is from Psalms, okay? Ein kamocha is taking different pieces and elements from language from the Psalms, from Exodus and from the Psalms. So, right, so you have, it's most of the language that we have in this Seder Kriyat HaTorah is written from the time of the Talmud. So it's gonna be in exile, obviously, out after the destruction of the Second Temple. Most of it is a Talmudic framework, right? So the rabbis of the Talmud, so that's really like,
105. I always get confused. I know there's the Mishnah and
so the Mishnah is 2nd century.
okay.
Talmud is after that,
Okay.
right? And so, but you also have different commentators that are gonna come 10th, 9th century, 8th century, 9th century, and then Rashi 12th century, like, you have different, but this is all of the, so like the Psalms and all these have already been written, because what they're doing is they're constructing the liturgy based off of these different sources.
Right.
Right, so rebuild the walls of Jerusalem. Obviously, this will be our prayer from the moment of 70 CE onwards, right? Until 1948, when we reclaim sovereignty of the land, right? So, because we're in exile from 70 to 1948, when we declare the statehood, right?
So that's
So-
AD or BCE, so okay.
70 CE. CE. Okay. Here we go, page 245. I love this reading in the English because I think this just says exactly what we're doing here. Okay? Assemble the people, men, women, and children, and the strangers in your cities to hear, to learn, to revere Adonai your God, to observe faithfully the words of this Torah, and let their children who do not yet know it hear, that they too may learn to revere Adonai your God. Happy is the one who finds wisdom, the one who gains understanding. For its value is greater than silver, its yield than fine gold. It is more precious than rubies. No treasure can match it. So here, how are we describing the Torah?
Tara just said the word precious, and I was thinking the same thing.
It's precious, right? Valuable,
Nothing-
precious,
Nothing better.
wisdom, right? If we look here what it says, wisdom, understanding, it has greater value than any of these fine materials, these treasures. It's precious, okay? It is a treasure. And it's something that all should hear. The children, the men, the women, who you're supposed to be thinking of. All of these, from the youngest, right? To all of us in the generations should have the ability to know it, to hear it, to revere it. Okay, page 246. Here it says, Ki mitzion teitzei Torah, udvar Adonai miYerushalayim. For from out of Zion will come the Torah and the word of Adonai from Jerusalem. Lift up your heads, O gates. Lift yourselves up, O ancient doors. Let the sovereign of glory enter. Who is this sovereign of glory? The God of hosts is the sovereign of glory. In this scroll is the secret of our people's life from Sinai until now. Its teaching is love and justice, goodness and hope. Freedom is its gift to all who treasure it. What is Torah?
Gift,
Martha, say it.
a gift.
A gift. Torah is a gift. What is Torah?
It's also a promise.
Torah is a promise. So Torah is a gift. Torah is a promise.
It's remembering our people.
It's what?
Remembering our people, our history.
Okay, it's our history. So Torah is a gift. It's a promise. It's our history.
And that's a teaching.
It's a teaching. Okay, so it's a gift. It's a promise. It's our history. It's a teaching.
It's all encompassing, it's everything.
It's everything. Okay, Torah is what? What is Torah?
Hope.
Torah is hope,
I
life,
think it's like past, present, future.
past, present, future. Okay.
It's a path to follow.
Ooh, it's a path to follow. Okay.
I think for the IDF units who carry Torahs into battle with them, it's an inspiration.
Okay. It's an inspiration.
I found a quote that I wrote down, and it was by Rabbi Naomi Levy, and she says, when I pray, I speak to Adonai, but when I study Torah, Adonai speaks to me.
Beautiful. That sounds
Oh,
very Rabbi Naomi Levy, and we all know and love her deeply, right? Beautiful.
Yeah, well timed. I'm having a hard time with this today.
Okay.
Okay. I'm having a hard time reconciling what we're reading with what's going on in Israel today. And I think I'm a little, someone sent me a long article this morning talking about Jews and what's going on in New York, and I'm having a hard time reconciling what we're reading with what's going on in the world today.
And can you be more like, what are you feeling?
Sad. I'm feeling sad that we've kind of abandoned our shining light. I think that way.
We're supposed to be a light onto the nations. But that's not what we're doing. So, yes, you know, we didn't start October 7th, but look where we are now. And reading this, it's hard to me.
But I don't think you need it. I'm not sure I interpret a lot of the, comments, the newspapers, all that's coming out. The way they are. I think it's not necessarily what they think it is.
I'd like to add that this is our highest aspirations, our glory, our moments. This is why we want to be Jewish. Life is not like that. What goes on, and you know history, and I know history, is not this. This is a special moment of learning, aspiring, creating, willing it to happen. That temple better be better. They better put that temple up. I put a post on, I'm very careful with this, what is it called? Facebook. And it showed a picture of where the dome is and what used to be there. And the time and how things happen. You know, if you're gonna cover over that spot, well, we're not gonna be able to build right there, right now. So that's there for how many hundreds of years? We have to understand that we are tiny little creatures. We don't get to spend much time here. The time we get, let's build what we can. Let's make those people better. Let's do what's right. I feel it when I'm here in this temple. I want to be an active partner of any creation that I can. But it isn't out there. That's not what's out there. Nasty people. Nobody's nice on the road. It's just.
That was me.
No, I saw a blonde lady that was driving behind me trying to get past me and I was told on my road. We are insignificant, but the idea, and you can't blame it on that horse. Where we belong.
So I think that's such
I like that.
I think that's beautiful. I think that's a really beautiful image of like reaching towards that ideal, right? That light. That's beautiful. Thank you, Ken.
I wonder how people can rise above tremendous crisis, handicap, hardship. And certainly that's what the Israeli people are going through today. And the Jews have done that throughout our history. So I look at this and the belief that it espouses to be that light through the cracks, that thread, that connection, source of inspiration and belief. And it says here, justice, goodness, and hope. You know, we were never promised, any of us, a life free from suffering, pain, loss, or anything. But we were, and we are given days that are wonderful and joyous. And so there is that hope to reach toward it. It's an anchor, in my opinion. You know, I can't live in a Pollyanna world, but I can understand why and how people and my people have proceeded through the ages with a sense of direction.
Yeah. That's right.
I could read the middle part of 244 in two ways. I don't have a good strength for our people, I don't have a blessing people peace. You could say, yeah, we don't have peace right now, look at what's going on. You could also say the strength we have now is going to lead to a longer term peace. It's how we have the Abraham Accords. It's how eventually there will be normalization with Saudi Arabia, which we all know is going to be on the table in the near future. So, you know, you can read it those two ways, you can interpret it differently. So I think at any given time, you can interpret those two lines very different. And it's really how you choose to see the world.
I was just gonna say, when Rabbi Levy was here and she was in the chapel, she was talking about the Buchenwald children.
Mhm.
And how one of the kids was trying to like do prayers and speak, and the other kids were like literally in tantrums, you know. They were
Can't hear you, right?
So when Rabbi Levy was here and she was talking about the Buchenwald children,
Buchenwald.
the
Yeah.
children after the
Yeah.
Holocaust, and they were in this, you know, in this orphanage. And how they didn't wanna hear Torah, they didn't wanna sing the songs, they didn't wanna do Shabbat, they just wanted just to, some kids were like, no, we're gonna do this, and some were just. You think about that dark place, what that meant to them. That means I'm gonna die. If I say these words, if I have this pain, like my husband's uncle survived the pogroms. He came here in 1938 at 18. And his father was killed in Dachau. And my husband's cousin, her grandfather, has his postcard that he sent his sister, her great aunt. And I'm like, you need to keep this, not in your kitchen, in a Ziploc, it needs to be archived. And it's a postcard that he sent her, his sister, her grandfather, saying, hi, we're in this camp, we're not gonna be here very long. They said everything's gonna be sorted soon. And within a week from the records, they realized he was executed. He was a very World War I hero. His name was Otto Stern. And when I met my husband's uncle, right before we got married and got to hang out with them, he said when he came here with nothing, literally fleeing, and knowing half of his family were gone, he chose joy because that's all he could do. He became a businessman, he had furniture stores, he became very successful. And then unfortunately, in Chicago in the 70s, there was a big anti-Semitism, he moved to Boca. But he said, no matter what happens, we're a high pressure people, meaning we work best under pressure. And I choose to find joy anywhere I can, because that's how I survive, because I have no choice.
Wow.
Beautiful.
What's the count now on those people that are still being held hostage? 600 and how many days? Those people are.
That's a hostage situation. Okay.
We are living it now, this very minute. Let my people go. Why is this happening? This is happening because those people deserve to be not killed. And that's where we are. We didn't know about Buchenwald. We didn't have all this press and people running around and. Is it right? We are just people. Picture ants, picture how things happen. We're supposed to know something. We don't.
Let's turn to page 248.
Thank you.
Baruch Shenatan Torah La'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. This is when we're standing with the Torah on the bima. Baruch Shenatan Torah La'amo Yisrael B'Kedushato. Blessed is God who in holiness gave the Torah to the people Israel. Who in holiness gave the Torah to the people Israel. Not just this physical scroll. Not just about the physical scroll. Who gave the Torah, all the things that we just described, the blessing, the promise, the history, the story, the teachings, the wisdom, the light, the responsibility, the obligation, right? The love, the justice, the hope, the treasures, all of these things, God gave us this in holiness. And what did we respond? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Hear, O Israel, Adonai is our God, Adonai is one. Echad Eloheinu Gadol, Adonenu Kadosh Shemo. Our God is one, Adonai is great, and holy is God's name. Gadlul Adonai iti unromema Shemo yachdav. Exalt Adonai with me, let us extol God's name together. Lecha Adonai Hagdulah v'Hagvura. Yours, Adonai, is the greatness, the might, the splendor, the triumph, the majesty. Yes, all that is in heaven and on earth. To you, Adonai, belongs sovereignty and preeminence above all. And that is when we begin the Hakafah, to walk around with the Torah. You gave us all of this in holiness. One of the beautiful teachings of our tradition is that when people come together to study Torah, they invite the presence of the Shekhinah. They invite God's presence into the space. Every week that we come in here in the Beit Midrash, or we're in the sanctuary, or we're in the chapel, and we enter and we welcome the word of Torah, whether it's through study, through singing, through reading, that is when we invite the presence of the divine. Right now, we have invited the Shekhinah, that presence of God, into this space. That what we are doing right now is holy. It is sacred because we are discussing, wrestling with, struggling with, rejoicing in the word, the sacred word of God, the teachings of our Torah, which are our history, which is our blessing, which is our past, present, our future, which should be heard by children, by grandparent, by parent, by all. Because what those words do when they enter in through our ears, into our being, into our soul, it changes the way that we see our place in the world. The word of Torah for us, when we hear it, when we speak it, when we internalize it, when we study it, it leads us on the path of goodness, of justice, of righteousness, of learning, of inspiration, of awe, of wonder, of light. That is what Torah can and should and will be in our lives. And we build this whole beautifully choreographed design service around the reading of the Torah. We could easily just take it right out of the ark and place it on the pulpit. That's it. Open it up. And you know what? That would be beautiful and meaningful too. But we said, you know what? We need to do something else. We need to design an entire beautiful ritual around the reading of this Torah. From the moment the doors open, from the way that it's adorned, right? Which is symbolic and resembles the garments of the priests. The beautiful covering and the belt and the breastplate, the silver, all of those elements are intentional. And then we bring it out onto the bima and we say, praised are you, Adonai, who is like you? There are none other like you. You are hope and blessing and goodness and sovereign and all of these wonderful attributes. And then we say, let's take the Torah from the top of the mountain and let's bring it down to the base of the mountain and bring it into our lives. And so that hakafah is this beautiful symbolic moment of literally imagining that it no longer exists on the top of Sinai, just a private conversation between God and Moses. But that hakafah is a living embodiment of that chain of tradition and of transmission, right? God gave it to Moses, who gave it to the chief, to the elders, who gave it to Joshua, who then gave it to the people. Right? That's the Lador Vador. That's that chain of tradition that we are now passing down. And now it lives amongst us. When it lives amongst us, literally and physically amongst us, it then reminds us of our own personal obligation and responsibility to upholding its value, to carrying its message, to studying its words. Right? I am literally preaching to the choir here. Okay.
I have to say, it's very moving. It's I disagree with you, even to the choir, because I think we all have these feelings, but I think you're probably bringing it out and.
They're saying, because you guys are here.
Yes.
That's what I mean.
Never
Right.
mind.
No, and I agree with you, but I mean, you're here, you're sitting here, we're doing it, right?
Right.
It's powerful, it's very powerful. And one of the reasons why I love studying it and talking about it here is it's because even if you're here every Shabbat, for the moment, to actually stop and pause and recognize what the moment is and what it means, that's really powerful. Because sometimes when things become routine, they become routine.
It's never routine.
No, well, good for Patty. I'm glad that it's never routine.
Never routine.
That's
It's always
beautiful.
done.
But what I mean is to be able to stop and pause and reflect on it and to actually say, what is each moment? When those doors open, that's powerful. The idea that we all stand in unison. Wow. Right? Like one of the things that I feel so blessed to be able is my vantage point. Right? To me, I never take that for granted. I am moved by it each and every week that I stand on the bima. And when the ark doors are open and we all rise together, and from my vantage point, what I get to see is literally, I imagine myself each week with my feet in the desert sand, standing at the base of the mountain, and I see all of us rise together. It is so beautiful. It is so beautiful. Just the elevation of the moment is another symbolism of also that notion of Aliyah Torah. When we call up the Aliyot, when you come up to the Torah, Aliyah Torah is literally meaning you are going up to Torah. Like when you're in Israel, when you say, you don't say you're going to Jerusalem, you're making Aliyah to Yerushalayim because you go up the mountains, up the hills in Jerusalem. It's on the hill, right? There's 7 hilltops. Aliyah, you're making, literally moving upwards towards Torah.
I have to say, when Alana and Jake have the service in
The minyan.
the Minion. They say whoever wants, occasionally they'll be like, no, if it's someone's birthday or something special, but they're, for whoever's there, they go, who wants to go? And I have to say, I literally, I'm probably the first one up there every once a month. And
I beat you.
oh, okay, you might, right, but I run.
It's like Torah racing.
I run up there just, and part of it is to see the letters, because the letters are not like reading from the book, they're beautiful, right? They're handwritten, they're beautiful, they're embellished. But I really run up, like the only other place I run is like Disney World. I mean, I don't run anymore. But like the awe and the thrill, for me, it's really a thrill. And I would say for all of us who have gone to that small Shabbat service, you know, on a Saturday once a month. I just love that, and the idea that they let whoever wants to say an Aliyah, to me, is thrilling, and I'm sure, and yes, and I always sit next to Susan because she has a beautiful voice, and I have like a Springsteen-esque voice. It's not very feminine, but I love hearing her sing these beautiful words, and I just sing along. But yeah,
Thank you.
I think anytime we go up there, I was at this field.
Hold on, I just said.
What does the word hakava mean?
So let's look at it. Right? Let's see, do they have here? Where we,
No, it's just, it's not as weird, it's just wondering.
they don't have it here. Let's see. Hold on, while I wanna get you the right there.
I can Google it.
49 says so.
I wanna get the right route. Yeah. That to circle, go around, yeah, the procession, like to.
Is that what it
I just
means?
wanted to make sure, yes, to go around, yeah, circle around, yeah. Okay, so. Here's what I'd like to do. I want us to read through on page 251. We were 250 and 251. We're gonna do the blessings in the Hebrew. As we all know these blessings, but we're gonna read them together, we're gonna chant them together. And then I wanted us to do the alternative translation. Okay, it's poetic, so I want us to try it. So let's do the blessing together. We can chant it. Baruch hu et Adonai HaMorach. Baruch Adonai HaMorach le'olam va'ed. Again. Baruch Adonai HaMorach le'olam va'ed. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher bachar banu mikol ha'amim. V'natan lanu et torato. Baruch atah Adonai. No take Torah. Let's read the first one of the translations. Holy One of Blessing, 251, together. Holy One of Blessing, your presence fills creation. You have enlightened this path with the wisdom of Torah, giving it to the Jewish people as their particular way. Blessed are you, merciful One, who gives this Torah to the Jewish people. Blessing after. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam. Asher natan lanu Torah te'es. V'chayei olam natan v'tokeinu. Baruch atah Adonai noten Torah. Let's do the translation. Holy One of Blessing, your presence fills creation. This Torah is a teaching of truth, whole and balanced, and from it comes eternal life for the people who embrace it. Blessed are you, merciful one, who gives this Torah to the Jewish people. Where does that blessing take you to when you hear it? When you hear that blessing, where does it take you? What's a memory you have? When you hear the Torah blessing, what do you see in your mind? Yeah, Anita.
For me, because when I was a child, women did not ever, and I came from a family that was fairly observant, in my grandparents' house at least, I think of the first time that I ever had an Aliyah and how stunning this is for me each time I go up. And I always try to be able to see, I can read the Hebrew. So although I don't know all the words, I try to see, you know, what's familiar to me. For me, it's every time, every single time, it's a stunning experience.
Beautiful. Who else? When you hear this blessing, where does it take you?
So when I did my conversion that night on the Bima, and then that Monday morning during the chapel for Shavuot, and Rabbi Dan asked any converts, recent, present, and past, to come up, and it was the first time I was Talit. And I got to go up there and he had us, I guess, hold one of the dowels and as he read, and I literally was shaking, like, this is it, this is what I've been wanting for, this is the moment where I actually felt, all the years I've been living a Jewish life, the 2 years I've been studying the conversion, it was that service and being called up there and being Torah Talmud, like, this is the moment, I'm getting emotional, and this is, I felt like it was such a gift. And it's kind of like when you graduate, when I got my master's degree, and I remember thinking, okay, I'm done now, like at your wedding, now what? And I'm like, this is just the beginning, the new chapter is open, now it's just a different way of existing, and in being able to see that in the words, like you said, the beautiful word story, the way it's written, is the parchment, how heavy it is, the weight of it, but also the gift that it is, it's something so. Like you gotta picture the old art and the tablets and the ancient words, and we're part of it, like Torah is truly alive. Being able to see that and be a part of that is truly like, it's a gift.
Beautiful. So here's what I'd love, you guys, here's what I'd like you to do, I'd like everyone to leave their things and come stand on the inside of the tables. And, even though Philip is not there, but Philip on Friday, you can come and do this, as well. Okay, so come stand on the inside of the table. And we are going to reenact that chain of tradition. Okay, a time key. The Torah is an eighth time. A living, it's a tree of life. It is a tree of life to those who hold it fast. So now you're gonna have that opportunity to hold it fast. So excited.
I'm so excited. It's the same as you, like, I can't. I didn't say it, but when my niece was born, it's been my honey was born, so it's, yeah, I go loud and proud. I felt it, I mean, it was probably only this.
Yeah, or could you
just so much.
just gets better and better to you. Yeah.
I think we're inside. Here, there's a little.
Okay. So here's what I'd love to do. Get a little bit closer to each other, just so it's easier. Yeah.
Oh, yeah,
So you can all be together. Okay. Eighth time he. The Torah is a tree of life. It is a tree of life to those who cling to it, who hold it fast, who embody its message and its meaning and its values. It is a living, breathing, beautiful, eternal part of who we are. In it and contained in it is our history, it is the story of our people, and it's also an evolving dynamic story because each of us add to it with our own stories of our own lives. So it's ever unfolding, it's ever evolving. It continues from generation to generation. The stories inside of it, and the words inside of it, and the letters inside of it are the same every time we open it. But its meaning, its message changes. Because we change. It allows us to see the world differently. It allows us to see clearly. It allows us to challenge and wrestle and question and shake our head and wonder. But it's forever a source of awe and wisdom. It's Chaim He, it is a tree of life to those who hold it fast. And those who cling to it find true meaning in their lives. So I'm gonna walk this around, and each of you can just have it rest on you, and then I'm gonna bring it to the next person. But what I want you to imagine is that you're standing in that desert at the base of the mountain. I want you to imagine that your feet are full of sand. I want you to imagine that you're planted there. When you look upwards, you can see the lightning, you can hear the thunder, and then a hush. Torah was given to us in a whisper. There was thunder and there was lightning, and then God spoke and it was in a whisper. Those are those powerful moments for us. It doesn't always feel like thunder and lightning. Sometimes it's a whisper that we can almost not hear. We aren't fully attuned. Torah reminds us to be attuned to the wisdom, to the wonder, and to the awe that's around us. And Philip, we're passing this to you too, so you can hold the Torah in your arms. And we'll let you feel it on Friday, you can hold it. So, here we are. This has been an amazing 4 weeks of learning together. This month and in the months that we've studied the Torah, the liturgy. And I want you to remind yourself that you can always return to the base of the mountain. You can always stand there and bring yourself there. When you read from our liturgy, from our prayer service, in your own homes, along your way. Whenever you need to stand at the base of the mountain, whenever you need to feel the weight of Torah in your arms, it's not just a physical weight, but it's also a spiritual one. And you can recall it and recount it throughout the moments of your life.
It's kind feet, it is a tree of life to all to it. And who hold it fast. Amen. It's so good to be with all of you, and may Torah always be a source of strength to you.